Just hit rec. What's up? Patrick Panakos. Talking to all you Stoke people out there. Hopefully you can hear me. You can't hear me. Oh, right on. DWC! How's that? Is that good? Thanks, Broseph. I've been working on it for a while. Maybe like 6 months. What's up, John? From the Wake Place. John, isn't it funny that you're talking to me on Stokemeter streaming when you're living over the projects, which is like 20 yards away? You just gotta get over that itchy stage, my friend. Yeah, I thought it would help just because it's so, like, gets all knotty when it starts getting longer, that I started conditioning it, but just you gotta get in there with some soap, or else it starts getting nasty. Hopefully one day I'll have, like, a wizard beard, you know? Really long. I told myself I wasn't gonna shave it until I had my firstborn, so when I'm holding up my child, he could see his dad with the big old wizard beard. So I've got a good 8 months left. System 2. Well, the system's 32,900. To dig a lake, I mean, that all depends. That all depends where you are, what equipment you have, or if you have to hire someone out. I'm stoked on Texas Mastercraft. Man, what a good bunch of guys over there. Really know wakeboarding. Brian Sasser over there is really rooted in the industry, and he knows the direction he wants to push it. So I'm pumped on Texas Mastercraft. Right now they got 2 obstacles in, but they're probably going to start expanding. Yeah, my flexboard lovers. Thanks for the props on the Covenant. Can I hide stuff in my beard? Let me see if we can get this pen going here. That's probably a big one. A convoy of covenants, of course. Right here. That's a nice thick stack of 150s. The Ronex canceled that program, the Covenant, so I had to go out and call up a bunch of people and get as many boards as I could. My current main focus, thanks for that, I appreciate it. My current main focus is cable parks, is getting System 2s all over the U.S. and helping build cable parks. I really think that Sesitech has a good vision. I think that they're the most innovative cable manufacturer out there, and between them and us putting in cable parks with sick features that kids can hit, man, that to me that's the future of the sport, and we're 110% focused on that. It's cool because that's what I'm pretty much doing now, is just really helping people set up cable parks and putting in rails for cable parks. I'm stoked 'cause I got a camp manager for the projects, and he's pretty much taken over that, so I can put my focus in that. Who's got a 15 stack of boards, and how much you want for them? How I got started in the industry? Just rode, loved riding. Met up with Byerly and those guys, Necrason, Johnny King, Drew McGuckin. Started riding with them, and just from there, I guess there's a need to have rails. I mean, everyone was hitting docks at the time. That's all we could jib because there's nothing around. So that's when we started the first ever carnival, started the first rail comp to try to get it put in our sport. Have I rode the Covenant off the wake? Yeah, it's not that good. The Covenant's got like side cuts in it, so it really digs in the wake. I think the old Rome or company boards or slingshots ride better off the wake just because the Covenant's got that side cut in it. I appreciate it, waterboarder. How didn't Sesitech win the most innovative award at Wake Awards? No idea. I do know the Ronix 1 boot's pretty sick though. It's comfy. It's what I like to ride. Strictly winching park of the projects? Yeah, definitely. I really think that crews like Shredtown and people like that go out and winch a lot are really pushing our sport to where it needs to be going. Clint Tompkins, there's a lot of dudes out there using winches in the right ways, and they have the right vision. What we can do at the projects, well, we're not like urban, so that's where I think the place for winches are. We were talking about maybe bringing in winches to maybe teach the campers how to use them, or maybe stoke them out to maybe they might want to get one and go try some things. For what it's worth. That's a good one. Oh, I've seen people ride the Covenant off the wake. It's just hard for me. Yes, designated driver. I would love to set one up in Arizona. You find the lake. Arizona's got a lot of water issues, and if you can overcome your water issues, it should be banger. I mean, Phoenix, that whole college in Arizona, they've got a lot of potential out there. I think they definitely need one. Every time, I only do 2 boat shows for rail jams, and it's because one of my partners in A-Box, the rail building company we have, his family works for the boat show. So we usually do the Arizona boat show and the Salt Lake one, and man, there's some rippers out in Arizona. They have got a wicked crew out there that ride. How did you get started building rails? When I wakeboarded professionally, I really didn't make that much money, so my neighbor across the street offered me $10 an hour to go help him with some construction. He owned a construction company, and he pretty much taught me how to frame. He taught me everything about how to build. So from then, you know, that's when we started building rails for that contest, the carnival. Usually just around Phoenix, Mesa. Hanging out with the Century Marine crew. Yeah, I think Andrew Adams has a lot of friends in Orlando, and I think he's going to be moving around. Hopefully, I mean, I think he's going to spend a couple days, maybe 4 or 5 days out here with us. But usually he's staying at his friend's house. Have I built any floating rails or sliders? Rails, yes. We did the 2 at Texas Mastercraft. We have probably 4 or 5 out here. I did one in Hawaii, like a couple years ago for the U.S. Open. Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. They're for cable parks, so we have a pretty much maybe 25 different obstacles that are all floating now that we've done. We did the one for Cape Hatteras. It's like a fox gap, but we closed the middle so everyone could ride it, and we made it all plexi, see-through, and then a removable top where you can pull the top off, and then you could gap it when they wanted their other riders to hit it. So it's a little bit safe. Do I know any cables I can talk about? Yes, I do. Dallas is getting one. 15 minutes from downtown Dallas. It's going to be pretty huge. Their location is wicked. We're going to do a set of obstacles for them, everything from beginner to advanced, and some of the advanced ones are pretty wicked. We have a whole new line of rails, kind of like Wake Lab inspired rails coming out. So man, it's going to be fun. There's going to be some wicked obstacles in that park. These questions are coming fast. South Carolina. You know, as far as cables coming out, there's probably, I mean, I would say in the past 6 months, maybe 200 plus people asking about putting parks in. There's, in my opinion, 4 or 5 that are really close. But yeah, they're everywhere. San Diego. If you're talking about Santee Lakes, I don't think it's been passed. We have some other things in San Diego going on, which I hope will go through, but sometimes it's too early to tell. I think the problem with the West Coast is just educating the city councils. I know they're really huge environmentalists out there, and sometimes that kind of hinders cable parks going in, but once more and more cable parks go in, I think the city councils will see what it really is and understand that it is, you know, all electric, it's really green, and it's a place where people can go ride and have fun. Flex is awesome. All spins, no fins. That's a good tagline. I love all these Covenant people out here, man. That's good to see. Is it better to make rails out of metal or wood? It's just a question on how much money you have to spend. Better would be metal. Aluminum rails, you know, they last forever. HTP, sheeting, there's all different types of things you can use. We're experimenting a lot on a lot of different surfaces now, so we'll see some different things come out, I'm sure. What riders are currently living at the projects? Right now, let's see, we have Ollie Jerome, Yannick Thibault, Clay Fletcher, Nate Perry, Mark Rossiter. He just left back to England for a couple weeks. Kirby, Josh Kirby. R.I.P. Covenant. That's so sad. Yeah, we got some new rails happening at the projects. We're still building the Nike Wake Skate Park. We got a couple like basic ones in there for them, but they're gonna start getting intricate now. Nike, Silas Thurman, and Nike are really putting in some dollars to help progress, I guess, the wake skate obstacles and really show people a different side of what is possible in wake skate obstacles, and I'm stoked on that. We do have some gnarly Robbo. Is that Rob Jakes? We do have some other obstacles coming out on another system for wakeboarding, and then I'm really pumped on. Hopefully, we'll see what happens with Red Bull to start doing some Wake Lab features out here. What's wrong with what? Floating rails can be towed on a trailer. Wake Lab was floating, and we put that on trailers and shipped it to Arizona. 10 semi-trucks. Where do you buy HTP sheeting? Pretty much any plastics place. Piedmont Plastics, Alro Plastics. You just call them up and ask for it, and if they don't have it, they usually send you in the right direction. But it's pretty readily available in the U.S. How can you join floating rail sections together? Bolt them. The P-Unit video is dope. Thanks. I think it was the first time all the guys of the projects came together and just we filmed our own stuff and we edited our own stuff. So none of us knew how to edit. That was the first time we ever did an edit, and I thought it came out all right. Production was stopped on the Covenant because of sales. I wish it hadn't been that way, but it's not that Ronex doesn't support flex, because they do, and they're starting actually a new line of flex boards. I think it was just too early in the industry and not enough people buying flex boards and stuff. What's with this snowboard thing? Of course I love to ride a snowboard. I'm smiling because in the Philippines everyone would tell me, you know, go ride your effing snowboard, because everyone was riding normal boards. I just think it's funny. Who is my favorite rail rider to watch right now? That's a hard one. Maybe, I guess it's between Mark Rossiter, Nate Perry, and Ollie Jerome. Raph Jerome. Raph kills it. I don't know if you guys know Raph Jerome. He's a young buck from Quebec, and he's just retarded. We actually have a video of him that we're going to put up on Alliance soon. Put half the video on the Wake Place, and you guys can check the rest on Alliance. Man, these questions are so fast. Is there any material better than Trex for rails? Fiberon or Trex, it depends what kind of feel you want on rails. That grip's a little bit better. You can actually feel the rail better. HTP is a little bit slicker. You can get different types of HTP though to have a different ride, different feel ride. Trex doesn't last as long as HTP, but it's less expensive. I love this waterboarder kid. You gotta tell me who you are, waterboarder, and you get a free set at the projects. A similar board to the Covenant. Well, it's an all wood board. I think right now you'd probably, the Rome is your best bet. Unless you want to buy one of mine. They're still out there though. There's a bunch of Covenants out there. I don't know about 150s, but 145s, there's a lot of them out there. My favorite snowboarder? I'm going to butcher his name, but I think his name is Iro Italia or something. He's my favorite. Am I living a good 10 years in the future? The future looks good, my friends. Where do I snowboard? I don't, obviously being from Florida, I don't get too many chances to snowboard, but my wife is from Salt Lake City, so I spend about a year and a half out there. So Park City, Brighton, those places. That is Rob. Rob Jakes. Does the projects have a metal handrail? We do, but it's not in the water. It's about $1,300 a week right now. I think since it's off season, if you ask for a discount, they might give you one. That usually consists of 2 boat sets and a rail set or a System 2 set. So you get kind of both behind the boat and in the park. And you can switch up sets if you just want to ride park all day. You can do all your sets in the park. Or if you really want to get a trick on the boat, you know, you might want to do some System 2 to get it down and then get on the boat. The Projects is a wakeboard camp in Orlando, Florida. We're the Projects Club. And we're here to help you progress your riding in every aspect of it. Boat, rails. It's for anyone. If you can swim, you can come. Thanksgiving dinner. Awesome, Pierre. I'm sure we will be having turkey this year. Another Euro fan. Honey, someone said I look like a serial killer. You're right, it isn't any good. We need to put it in the water. The project's website is theprojectscamp.com. Yeah, I do think it would help close the gap. We're never going to be like skate, we're never going to be like snow, but we definitely need to go more that way. You know, winching, the urban stuff with urban winching, it's wicked. It's, you know, I don't know how to explain it. It's real. I think it's my favorite part about the sport is watching guys do that. It's hard to go out and do it because we spend a lot of time with winches and trying to find spots. That's why Shred Town are sick. Yeah, Red Bull Cola is my second choice after Red Bull. The project site, that's funny. The NASA thing is the actual lady who designed this whole site, she was a NASA engineer. So she pretty much quit her job at NASA and designed this site. And then we came along. She's kind of like a second mom to us. Fins on snowboards, I don't understand. I'm confused. Companies and slingshot boards track good. You just need to know how to use your edges. The more you ride it, the more you learn to actually rely on your edges and not fins. If you do need help, you can just pop in small fins. But I don't think you should be putting fins on snowboards. Do you sponsor riders? Yeah, everyone who lives at the projects. Fins are for fish. Can you come? Yeah, you can come. You know, if you call the project's phone number, they'll set you up on what you need to do. It's like I said, we're open to everybody. My favorite board right now. Well, I'm still riding the Covenant. I've got 8 left, and once those 8 Covenants are done, I'm hoping that the Ronex Flex board's going to be out. Because maybe that's the day I stop riding if it isn't. The sport's growing. I know we're in some bad economy and the boats are hurting, and I feel for the boat dealers, and you know, everyone's kind of rough with budgets. But you know, I'm still saying cable parks are our answer, man. We put cable parks in every big city, and we start growing the sport with our numbers. You have crews like Shred Town going out. Hopefully more people will start winching spots. They'll find handrails and start getting creative with mobile pools and really come up with some good stuff. Am I the Messiah? No. I'm not the Messiah. That's Jesus Christ. I appreciate that about the shot of Such Is Life. Ron Seinglance's wife, Dorothy, shot that, and it's an amazing photo. Why is flex so important on rails? You never really feel a rail if you're on a stiff deck. You get into a nose press or a tail press, you can't feel that. When I was riding that first Premiere that they came out with the big face, man, I mean, whoever's right now, who I feel for the riders who have to nose press and tail press with stiff boards, because basically it's a balancing act. There's no real flex in it, so. And it's so much harder to do it. It's so much, I mean, once you jump on a flex board and ride rails, you'll find out for yourself how much fun it actually is. You know, it's not difficult to build a cable park. The hardest part is actually getting the permission to build the cable park. But the actual building of the cable park, Tech, those guys have built 60 plus parks, and it's 60 plus cables, and it's ridiculous how fast they go up. So it's not hard to build it, and even the design work on it is pretty easy. It's just getting the permission to do it. That's what's holding everyone back. That and financing. Yeah. Money and location. Two biggest problems. Nollies on wakeboards? We've already seen it, my friend. Which one you have? One of the two. Which one you have? Location or money? How do you know so much, waterboarder? Who are you? Yeah, I did. That was in my retarded days. I took an old Premiere and I was sick of having to do nose presses and not feel it, so I started drilling holes through the nose and tails to try to get flex out of it, which was pretty dumb because it probably weakened the board and it could have snapped and I probably could have wrecked myself. Big rocker lean. Worst injury I've seen in person on a rail. Nothing that bad, just get split wide open. I need stitches. Wakeboard mom. You know, there's actually really good companies right now. Matt Belter Insurance, that are insuring cable parks. He's the underwriter for Chubbs. He does all the WWA, most of the camps in Orlando, 70% of the cable parks, and he's really educating. Chubbs, the insurer, who's one of the biggest marine insurers in our industry, on what wakeboarding is and you know, it being safe. Because there's not a huge history in the United States of cable parks and accidents, it's hard for them to base that price tag on it. So he's really doing a good job with them and bringing the rates lower. But I don't see there being that much liability in it. Well, the system too, I mean, we kind of suggest people to go no smaller than 450, and it goes about 700. And the width of your lake, you know, that all depends on rope length. We suggest, like, for a nice rope length, 100 feet to 120 feet wide. But like you saw, we've done it in really small ponds. We've done it in really tight locations. But that all has to do with safety. If you're going to do it commercially, you probably want some safety rim on either side. If your rider's turning around, they're coming close to shore, you got issues. You know, we've been in contact with Santee Lakes, and I wish them the best. I know my partner Matt Hickman's helping them out. I'm sure everybody is. San Diego needs a cable park, and we will see. Yeah, I think, you know, obviously 10 years ago when we barely had any rails, it's grown so much since then, and more people are wanting to jump on flex boards because it's the best thing to ride on rails. So yeah, I'm stoked to see Ruck steezing on his Rome. I'm sure more guys will. Yeah, the project's actually, you know, Slingshot is a sponsor of ours. They actually help put in to build rails, and they give us all their boards for demo equipment. They're rad. They're them and Company Wakeboards also gives us like a full line of demo equipment, and Justin Stevens is going to be working on us with a bunch of projects in the future. So right now those two companies, I mean Slingshot and the Company, are the ones we work with. They got good product. I used to ride Chad's boots, the Cells. Canada's working on a couple cable parks. I think it's too early to start spouting off where they are, but there's a couple there. Increase your ollie. Practice, practice, practice. Go buy the book. Or go to learnwake.com. Or come to the projects. Either way, we can help you. Is that Dom's for real? If that's really Dom's, what's up, Dom's? Dom's is my boy from the Philippines, man. Every morning I woke up, crack of dawn, he would cook me up some good stuff. You're awesome, Doms. What got me into wakeboarding? You know, my friends went to the University of Florida, and so did my brother, and there they had a program to a boat that would pull you around for a day if you had a student ID, and I went out there with some of my friends and grabbed my brother's student ID, and I never did any water sports. When I got out there, the boat driver asked me, what have I done, and I just basically said all I really do is skateboard. So he busted out one of those pointed nose Conley boards, and that was the first time I ever wakeboarded. The boat driver is actually Bruce Clem. We became pretty good friends and rode a lot. Thanks, man. Oh, Perry. Did you see that, Perry?
Yes.
That's not cool, Perry. It's not. Now me and you have problems. The growth of the system, too, will help wakeboarding get in the X Games. What's going to help wakeboarding get in the X Games is actually being legit. If there's something good there that makes the crowd want to watch, then it's going in the X Games. If it's lame and it doesn't bring spectators, then the X Games doesn't want it. That's what the X Games is about. People. Do I think it will help? I think the system too can do more things than what a boat and a wave runner can do, and a winch, as far as skate park style setups like you see in Wake Lab. So I think showing them something like that, like Wake Lab, and bringing it into the middle of a parking lot and stack, or even in a stadium, stack a bunch of people around it, I think they'll like it. Perry, are you B-boy also? If that's you, B-boy, keep riding that Covenant I gave you. It's not funny, Perry. Thank you. I hope people would stop. I don't know where that word slider came from. It's weird. We need to switch that to features or rails or, man, even obstacles. Did you see Perry?
Yeah, he's messing with me, man. He's all those people.
It's like 10 people just talked and it's all Perry. It's all my Filipino brethren. Brazil. Is it hard to go to the Philippines and ride their cable? I heard you have to get a visa. No, you don't have to get a visa to go in the Philippines. I think that's only if you want to stay longer than 3 months. Anybody can go to the Philippines, and it's easy to ride the cable. Have you ever heard of the guy named Mish? What is your email, Pat? I don't know if I should give that out on here. Mainly for Sean Perry. He might email me 1,000 times. Stylish trick you've ever done. I really like on the boat, just like maybe big toe side, indie pokes, backside 180s, things like that. On rails, maybe nose press, pop off, 180, switch nose, 180 out, something. I guess I love riding rails, so. I think it's the flight total with the layovers takes you about 24 hours. It's really not that bad. Usually these planes these days have tons of video games and movies. Me and John at the Wake Place. I'm now partners with John at the Wake Place, and we're in the process of turning the Wake Place into something very different. Actually something that you've seen before in other sports, but not really wake, and it has a lot to do with the projects. John Pears is one of the most amazing filmers I've ever seen, so I'm just stoked to be working with him. And we just got one of those new 7D cameras. I think he said he wanted to come over and show it off. He's really pumped on it. I used to go to the Philippines a lot. The last 2 years I spent, the first year I probably spent 6 months. Same with the next year. I spent a lot of time over there. I mean, we had a lot of things to work on, not just the cable park, the rails. We designed the boat lake. We designed the whole System 2 setup. There was a lot of work there, but even helping them out with the Republic and yeah, the barracks of Wake. You called it, my friend. When we see a video of Pat riding Wake or Pat riding the boat, I'm really having too much fun on rails. I'll leave the boat stuff up to D. Harf and boys. Well, some companies still are with me because they like me. I don't know why they stay, but Skull Candy still hooks me up. Still do a lot of stuff with Ronex. Marine Products out in Salt Lake City is a board shop that still hooks me up. I used to ride back in the day for a bunch of different ones, switched around a lot until I found home with Paul O'Brien and company. Jason Kimball, he used to hook me up with, he was a sessions team manager for Snow, and he started getting into wake until they pulled out of clothing, so I rode for Sessions for a while, then Skull Candy and IS Design. A company deck? Yeah, they're wicked. I mean, obviously they're out here, and we try everybody's boards to see what they ride like. Really, really stoked on what company's doing. Their boards are sick. It's funny how many campers, come to our camp and we put them on a company board or a slingshot board, and they go home and immediately buy one. It really says something for the board, Do you have lemons to squirt on your nipples? That's gotta be Mr. Adam Levitt from SBC Magazine. Whenever you call, Adam, I'll make sure I have a photo for you. Did you meet our buddy Sandro Diaz? Yeah, I did. That dude's wicked. Him and Andy McDonald came out with Ben Horan and rode the System 2. It's cool to see skateboarders actually try wake skating, and they actually had fun on the system, which was cool to see. Those are good guys, man. I told you, Adam, I need a cover on SBC. The first American to be on a Canadian magazine. And then I'm done with my career. Are there a lot of wakeboarders in the Philippines? There are now. A lot of people are trying it, and there's actually some really good rippers in the Philippines. Cable Park, man. They ride all day, every day. Whoa, who's this? Who's got 150s? I'm writing you down. I might need one. Starting my own board company? No. There's too many people out there that are doing it right. I just rather support them. I think I only put my effort into something that I think that the sport needs, and really push that. And for me it was rails in the beginning, and now it's cable parks. I don't think cable parks have even reached their full potential on what they could be, or where there could be. So that's my 110% effort right now is spreading the word of cable parks. Do you think you have the greatest collection of mags in the world? Dirty Cracker's got inside information. Don't worry, Dirty Cracker, I'm going to donate it all to the Wakeboard Museum in 50 years. Do I have any old company boards for sale? Those are all demos that we really let campers thrash on the rails. And yes, we have a lot of old boards because they held up pretty good on rails this season. So all our boards from last season actually we're going to keep using. So you should go out to a board shop and buy a new company board and support Justin and the crew. There you go, buy a new one. Slingshot! Bridge the gap. I think it just opens up more possibilities on what it can do. Since the system can go forward, stop, and come back the same direction, now we can start implementing quarter pipes and C-rails. I mean, we already have. You could see Red Bull Wake the Line in Germany. We did a big half pipe at the end of the run, and it worked. It went down. You whip into it, you hit this quarter, and the system pulls you back out right where you're landing, and you ride away from it. Who would have thought that ride in, ride out quarter pipes are something we can do in wake? I remember, like in 2002, one of our good friends, Tim Payne, he runs Team Payne. He's one of the best skate park builders in the world. Gave us a half of a half pipe, and he helped us put it on shore. And for the second carnival, we actually ripped guys into the quarter pipe. It was 13-foot vert pipe they had. It was the reef ramp for the surf expos. But all we could do is whip them in and let go, and they would go up the quarter pipe. When they came down, the run was over. But now we can ride out of stuff like that. We can do 180 C rails like we did. It's opening a whole new door of what we can do. So I think that's bridging the gap to these board sports. Carlsbad Lagoon should be a wakeboard museum. Will relate better to skateboarders and wakeboarders. No, I see where you're heading with that. It's we're still a towed sport, but we're definitely getting rid of the boat and wave runner. I think you could see it when Andy McDonald and Sandro Diaz came out. How much fun they had, and they could actually, like you're saying, relate to riding that wake skate. Snowboarders for sure. I think we have some big plans for that you'll see in the near future. How did I get hooked up with Stokemeter? Maurice, man. This guy Maurice called me on the phone, and he sounded pretty excited. I like excitement. No, BT moved in with Grub. And him and Grub, he's living at Grub's house. It was like that in the past where, Cable was the redheaded stepchild. And I just think because, all we had are these cable parks and there wasn't that many good rails in them, I think that most of the stuff coming out of cable parks were huge S-bends and stiff tricks. And I think after doing some really, really good events and good cable parks, think the CWC helped that a lot. That cable design by Tech is amazing. The turn cable park in Germany that Tech did, the two opposite way cables, and I think that's amazing. They have 22 set obstacle in there. S boxes, everything. It's retarded. I think what the System 2 did with Wake Lab, I think things like that is what now people are looking at cable and not saying it's the redheaded stepchild. Does your beard have anything to do with your Halloween costume? I don't know. We haven't decided. Usually the projects crew goes as a group to Halloween, so we're not sure what we're going to do. The best cable park out there? Well, I think answering that is kind of like opinion, and my opinion is would be turn cable. I'm the most excited about, of course, until Dallas is built. I don't see it. Just told me. What is it? What's it say? Oh. Do you want boat riding to be completely eliminated from the sport of wakeboarding? No, and in no way should it ever be. It's a different aspect of our sport. Boat riding is amazing. That's where I got started. That's where my love for wakeboarding came from, was riding the boat. The first time I ever did it, that's how I got into it. Should it ever be eliminated? No. Should it ever be a smaller part? No. It should always keep growing, and the guys like Randy Harris, who's one of the most amazing boat riders, Danny Harf, like, those guys are killing it. And I think still riding the boat, I think that side of sport's always going to grow. I think the boating industry is going to turn around. It's a whole different thing to go ride a boat. It's it's like saying, should half pipe ever be eliminated for snowboarding? Should backcountry ever be eliminated for snowboarding? Our sport is bigger than just boat. It's bigger than just cable, and it's bigger than just winching, but all those things together really makes our sport what it is. Just because I don't do it anymore doesn't mean it should be completely eliminated. Does it make me sick to see people stoked on Superman's Nest but on the System 2? It shouldn't be about that. It should be about whatever's fun for them, man. If they go out and want to do a S-bend to do it, great. I mean, whatever you have fun with, I think. It's not just about rails, Why does Germany have so many damn cable parks? Because they invented the cable. They invented the cable back in the end of the 60s. And that's why. I mean, you can see that Germany, here's a good note too, Germany, has a lot of laws against what lakes you're allowed to even ride a boat in. Some lakes you can't even touch the water with an engine. So to go ride a boat in Germany, not only is it expensive to buy boats, it's expensive for the gasoline, but now you can't even put your boat in the river. And everyone should be very, very concerned on that happening in the U.S. I mean, there's already waterways and places in Oregon that they're shutting down wakeboard boats. Oh, they're washing away the shoreline, or they're polluting our rivers. And that's where it starts. And once it starts and the city's already passed on one of the rivers, hey, you can't ride wakeboard boats anymore, man, that's a serious thing that everyone has to look at and make sure that U.S. doesn't turn around and start telling you can't ride wakeboard boats in rivers. That really will hurt the sport. How's Lidberg these days? Good, better than ever. He, he came off an unbelievable year, winning the Red Bull Wake the Line over in Germany, and then he turned around and won the Nokia Fees, which is one of the biggest rail events in France. He did really good on the cable tour, and it's cool because his focus this winter's turning. We're starting a new projects movie, and his focus is really turning toward some of that. I'm scared to see what he posted.
It is old. How funny is that?
Brutal. I'm not even grabbing. Why would you do that? Dirty cracker. Now I know why you do that. That's funny. That is old. Thruster board. Sponsored by Dragon Body Glove. Who was that? I don't even know. The middle sticker is a human sticker. Thruster used to be like a sister company for human skateboards. And every time we go to the Thruster factory, which is pretty much the human skateboard factory, we just stock up on skate decks and stuff. Fashionista. Why do you gotta use my name, Perry? Two dogs, or three dogs, Mac, Dudley, and Trip. But no Tinders, please. What's wrong with Perry?
Oh, Chris knows about the hula.
Oh, it's the amusement back in '06 at the Cowboys. Does Bob Archer own the projects? No, I've never rode a humanoid board. Honey, did you just post in, or is that Perry you? The next projects vid, we actually started shooting it week and a half ago. It's a pretty cool concept, so we're really stoked on it.
Dudley, he's Dudley now. Tell Perry that Dudley has an E.
Perry, Dudley has an E. I don't think we're offering passes to the projects. I think that's for cable parks.
Doodly.
People say Bob Archer saved the sport of wakeboarding, but I think he should have passed. What do you think about Uncle Bob? I probably shouldn't say anything. I don't really know. How did we get hooked up with Jackass Boys in the back in the day? Tim Payne, like I was telling you earlier, is a skate park builder. Team Payne, and he's kind of the guy who was doing the first ever loops for Tony Hawk, and they came out and wanted to do a bunch of stunts somewhere, but Tim knew of our property and our place and what we have, so he told them that we would let him use some of that stuff, and he came out and built that loop for Matt Hoffman and Tony Hawk, and all the guys came out and hit it. Yeah, I think what we might be hiring next year. Check back. FBA. Dirty Crack, are you sponsored by Chipotle? I know it tastes good and everything, but... well, it definitely would work better with the System 2. You can ride out of it. Yeah, Mike. We'll miss you at Thanksgiving this year. Just email the projects. You can get a hold of me there. Later, Lurch. Yeah, the C-Rail was at the projects. We kind of teamed up with Billabong to provide a lot of their stunts and help Half and the team do some pretty cool things, like that bus wall ride, C-Rail and stuff. Sunglass brands? Yeah. IS Design used to hook me up. Oakley's rad. Jack Blodgett hooked me up with a pair of Oakleys. That was pretty sick. Brandon McLean, you guys check out elusive.com. Brandon McLean is an artist who lives in our barn, and he does artwork, and he does some pretty cool things. Church boards? I don't know what church boards are. I'm out of it. Dude, the pointless boards come out and the boys come out when they can. I think all those guys travel a lot during the season. I mean, Watson was here Monday shredding with us. I just think that whenever they get a chance, they come out. You know, they usually, when they come out here, all they do is rails. Obviously, they got boats in their backyard, so they should be coming out a lot this winter, I think, to play with us for some video stuff, but I think Danny and the guys are really busy with the new Defy project. No, I don't force him to live in the barn. He likes the barn. See in my crystal ball. What happened to Chris Salteski? He moved back to Canada, and he's got a girl there. He's happy. He He actually picked up a snowboard park that he's building for. Chris used to be one of the guys on our rail crew. We miss him. Church boards is the future. DWC, you're calling out what we're having? What happened to Steve Wallman? Man, that's a good question. I would like to know the answer to that. To me, he was, man, that kid had so much style. I think he just kind of, he was a NorCal snowboarder and just kind of brought that style to Wake. He used to be my roommate for a very long time. Oh boy, I was hoping for a girl first. So would I. We probably put 600 hours on a camp boat. Snowboard on a Covenant? I haven't tried. No, Mike Comrie's not working for us. Adam. OG Mike Rogers. What kind of boat do y'all ride? The Nautique 230 is a wicked boat. That's what we used to pull the camp with last year. No, I have not rode behind the Axis boat, but I've heard such good things about him. We're actually talking with them, which doesn't mean anything, but it would be cool to get one of those guys out here too. There's a lot of good boats on the market, man. I've always been my whole life a Nautique guy. I think that's when I first got my first boat in '95. And ever since then it was just Nautiques. I'll see you later, waterboarder. I really don't know anything about superboats. I know Nautiques because I've been riding them forever. It's kind of hard to beat the quality of a Nautique, that's for sure. System 2 is 32.9. I guess it depends what kind of boat you get. I mean, a lot of those boats are pretty expensive, $80,000, $60,000, but you could probably find a bass boat for pretty cheap. I can't wait till there's a Sean Perry Stokemeter day. Bass boats are sweet. I don't know, but it's funny. What happened with Yamaha? You know, when we first opened the camp, we were sponsored by Yamaha. They were really stoked on us about pulling the park. They were really heavy into getting into wake. But I just think that like the Yamaha watercraft division is semi-small, and the attention that they had to focus on other things kind of distracted them from wake. But I was really stoked that they hooked us up. It was actually Staker knew someone there, and Staker passed on the information, and they were pumped on what we were doing. Man, I've driven a lot of wave runners, and Yamaha by far is the best, so I'm stoked that they actually hooked us up in the beginning like that. It's a hard question to say minimum size lake for a system too, because you can kind of do it anywhere you want. But if you're talking like kind of commercial settings where you know you're gonna have other people ride it and you want to be safe, you know the width should be probably around 100 feet, 120 feet. You can do it smaller. We've done it smaller, but just for us, when we're pulling campers, we really want to have that distance to the shoreline where they're not going to hit. It's stupid to pull people close to shores. Is that Melanie? Melanie, you're relentless. Century Marine, Phoenix. The biggest fish caught at the projects was probably, I think it was either Brandon Thomas or Brian Grubb. And man, it was a bass, and the mouth on the thing was, I swear, is this big, and that's my fish story. It was massive. It was the biggest bass I've seen. We had this catfish one time that all the campers, every night after dinner, we'd throw all the food in right by the boat docks. All these catfish would start coming and eating all the leftover food. And there was this one huge catfish that just rolled in really slow, and everyone would move out of its way. He was probably the grandfather of the lake. And we actually netted him and put a big spiked dog collar on his neck. Named him Mad Max. And he just rolled around our lake with a dog collar on. Rusty or Sharp? I think everyone would say Rusty because he's so big, but I mean, Sharp's tough, man. I think it's really who's going to land that one punch that's going to knock the other guy out. But fighting's not good. Yeah, I rode at Gravity Research. What was the name of that contest? A while ago when we camped out, had a contest. It's a fun place, man. That place is sick. I wish I got more chances to go up there and ride. I did the design work on the rails. This year is the first year I didn't do the build. I couldn't get up there this year because of everything going on. But the crew that usually helps us build rails every year is pretty good up there. Patrick knows what he's doing up there. Don't know where wake stock's gonna be next year. We haven't heard that one. Amoeba encounters? Nope. Our water's cold. I started riding in 94, I think it is. 93, 94. What, the Mad Max? Rich kid. How old was I when I turned pro? I don't know. 25. It was late. 24. It was a weird transition to go pro, because usually, I mean, to me, consider a pro rider as, someone who actually makes a living out of it. And I never fully made a living where I can live on my own good. I mean, Wallman and I shared a house, and we ate like junk, and I had to get some other jobs to stay by. I had the sponsors that helped me out and supported me, but it was hard. I mean, back when I got picked up, I think I did a back roll and a tantrum, and they gave me a pro contract, so weird. Yeah, it's sad when the covenants go down. It's a limited supply. I don't know. We're probably done. Maybe we're done, skis. Get back to the emails. Yeah, thanks guys for asking the questions. I try not to drink too many Red Bulls a day. It hurts, but sometimes you need it to keep going. Alright, well, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for coming out, man.